Good evening.
Good evening, teacher.
Good evening.
Okay, we are in session number 4. Today is the last day of this week. We are going to end the first week, and it's really interesting because the time is flying right now. Vamos a terminar lo que es la primera semana súper rápido. And then we are going to begin with the next week, that is the week number 2, and so on. We are going to end this course very, very fast, I guess. So we are going to start because of the time, because we have just 1 hour to complete all the information. And I have something very interesting for you today. We are going to see, again, we are going to see 2 topics. Vamos a ver 2 temas. And one is infinitive complements. That is not very long. It's kind of short. And then we are going to see a topic that is called listening for specific details. We are going to know or to implement or put into actions some actions that we can do when we are listening in English and we are learning the language. But in that topic, because we need to know the details of the information that we are listening, we are going to see first, but in that case it's not like to see, it's to hear one audio that we have on the platform, and we are going to see what are the answers for those questions that we can find on the platform. And the second thing is that I have a live worksheet. In that case, the live worksheet is when you are going to listen a conversation. But the topic of that conversations are some like scientific things, and you need to find dates and specific information. Vamos a hacer un ejercicio en el cual yo les voy a mandar un enlace de una hoja de trabajo donde ustedes van a escuchar un audio. It is not very, very long, but it has a lot of information. Y vamos a tratar de responder lo que se nos pide, porque vamos a escuchar para encontrar información específica. En este caso van a ser datos bastante específicos, como los son fechas y números. So in that case, we need to put a lot of attention to the exercise. But we are going to do it at the end. We are going to take like 10 minutes to perform the exercise together. Lo vamos a hacer juntos, vamos a ir parte por parte, trying to understand the audio that we have on that live worksheet. And also, when you finish the worksheet, you can take a screenshot and send to the group, because we need to know what are the answers and the points that you are going to have or the score. But it's very interesting because we are going to listen a conversation and different pronunciation of the words. And also at the end we have the last part is to write the infinitive form of the verb, and also write who is the person that say that verb in past. La última parte se trata de verbos. Vamos a poner los verbos en infinitivo, ya nos aparecen en pasado, y vamos a colocar quién fue la persona que lo mencionó. El verbo en pasado, no en presente, sino en pasado. So in that case, we need to put a lot of attention to the conversation, and that is the activity that we are going to develop at the end. So we are going to begin with the first topic here. First topic. Infinitive complement. And another thing, I know that someone has sent me some messages, but I'm so sorry because I cannot, or I could not answer those messages because I was very, very busy because I am a teacher, and in these days we have a lot of work. But I'm going to answer those messages later, so don't worry about that, and I'm so sorry for that. So, topic: infinitive complements. What are the infinitive complements, and what are the uses that we can have for these infinitive complements? We can find on the platform that in this session we are going to know what are the infinitive complements, and it says that we can use it for ask and give advice. Los complementos del infinitivo los vamos a utilizar para dar y recibir o pedir consejos. But in this case, I have a structure or a formula, and also we are going to see different ways in which we can use the infinitive complements. For example, we have for persuade, or want, believe, plan, have, tell, or make. So in this case, we have 5 categories of the infinitive complements. We are going to see the 5 categories, and we are going to see some examples, but those examples have a formula. Vamos a tener 5 fórmulas diferentes para estas categorías y vamos a tener ejemplos, because in this case the infinitive complements are not like a very, very long and complicated topic, because it is just to add the to the verb. But in this case, it is for asking or giving advices. And also, when we finish to see the 5 categories, we are going to hear the conversation that we have on the platform. So we are going to start, and it says, we have this formula. We have this one, verb plus object plus infinitive. That is the important part. We have the categories. And we have the first one, that is persuade. Vamos a persuadir. Then we have want, believe, plan, have, tell, and make. That is in the same category. And we are going to see the first one, that is persuade. Persuade verbs. And here we are going to use the persuade verb for advise, cause, convince, and also persuade. Estos verbos para persuadir los vamos a utilizar para dar un consejo, para una causa, para convencer y persuadir. and we have the examples. But first, we need the formula. We have the same formula as in the beginning, that is the verb, the object, and the infinitive. But you know, in this case, we need the subject, that is the first thing. Okay, we have the examples now. The first one, I convince her to stay. Here, in this case, we have this verb, that is the persuade verb, and we have convince. But the infinitive complement is to stay, this way. Cuando tenemos el verbo stay, quedarse, pero le agregamos el to, la T y la O, es el infinitive complement. Ese es el complemento infinitivo, nada más. And in this case, we have I convinced her to stay. La convencí de quedarse. So in that case, we are going to use to stay or the verb in that way as the infinitive complement of the sentence.
Excuse me, teacher.
Tell me.
Siempre vamos a poner el to cuando se va a tratar de ese verbo de persuasión.
In this case, when you are using this kind of verb, and also when you are giving advices, siempre que sean este tipo de verbos y también para dar consejos, vamos a utilizar el to. For example, if you are sick and you go to the drugstore and you say, I feel fever, I have fever. What do you think I need to take? And the person is going to say, you need to take some pills. For example, tienes que tomar, to take those pills. Tienes que tomar medicinas, tienes que tomar pastillas. In that case, they are giving you an advice. Necesitas tomar esta medicina. In that case, you are going to use the to, because it's the infinitive complement for that causes. Cuando sea este tipo de verbos de persuasión, de believe or something like that, y también para los consejos lo vamos a utilizar de esta forma. Then we have another one. She always advises. Key consejo. She always advises us to practice outside of class. Ella siempre nos aconseja practicar fuera de clase. She always advises to practice outside of class. To practice. Then Hawkeye coast element to turn around. To turn, volver. And in this case, when you are using this kind of persuade verbs, the object is always required. It is not that you need to omit that part. In this case, you need to write the object of the sentence. Then we have the second one, number 2. And in this case, we have want verb. Okay, want verb. And we have expect. Need and want. Esto lo podemos decir que son los verbos de querer. Want verb. Verbos de querer algo. Expect, estamos esperando que algo suceda. Need, necesitamos. And want, queremos. Again, we have the examples because in that case it's the same structure. Here, she expects me to apply. She
Teacher, se le escucha cortado.
Yes, I know, but I am using my the internet on my cell phone, and I don't know why it's having troubles because I'm not using my other connection.
Teacher, no se le escucha.
Teacher, ¿no se le escucha o se escucha cortado, teacher? Creo que su conexión no está bien.
Give me a second. I'm going to stop the video for a couple of minutes because I'm not using my normal connection, but I don't know what is happening. Okay, I don't know if you can
Yo no le
hear me
escucho,
now.
teacher. Se oye cortado.
Let me change to the other internet again. Let's see if we can change that part. Okay, I know it. Now you can hear me.
Yes.
It's better.
Yes, teacher. Yes, it's better.
Okay. I don't know why, but at this hour it decides to not function very well. I don't know why. Okay. I was saying that in this case, we have this example. She expects me to apply. Then the second one, I need to study the verb. Then in this case, we are not going to use the object all the time. This is just like we can decide if we want to write the object depending on the context of the sentence that we are creating. Then we have the believe verb, that is the number 3. We are almost done with this topic, and we have the plan verb, that is the number 4. We have 2 examples. Number 1, they arranged for me to have an interview. And then we have the number 5, that is the last one. that in this case is have, let, make verbs. And we have here have, let, and make. His music makes me feel happy. And in this case, we are not going to use the to. In this case, we are going to change a little bit the way in which we are going to create this kind of sentence. They are not like the same as the other four. In this case, we are going to use the verb in simple form. So in this case, it is not like we are going to use it as infinitive. Aquí lo vamos a utilizar como verbo simple, no como un infinitivo, así como lo hemos hecho con los otros cuatro, sino que ya utilizamos su forma infinitiva. Su forma simple. So in that case, we have the 5 categories of these complements. This is a very, very short topic. It doesn't have a lot of things to explain or to say about the complements. They are just for advice and something like that. So we are going to change that topic and we are going to talk about the other one because we have 2 and we have 2 different exercises. Así que vamos a ir avanzando con los ejercicios porque tenemos 2 que son bastante importantes for these topics. So, we are going to have the second topic that is listening for a specific information. Okay, in this case, when we are learning English, we need to develop some skills to have a better understanding of the language. And in this case, listening in a foreign language is a complex process. People have to be able to understand the main idea of what is said, as well as a specific detail. So, when we are learning English, or in some cases when we are learning different languages, we need to understand different things. And what are those things that we need to understand? First, we need to understand the main idea. We're going to write here just the keywords. Understand the main idea of what is said. Specific details. Also, we need to check any predictions that we have made. And when or what we are talking about predictions, because when we are listening something or when we are reading something, we make predictions about the things that is going to happen in the future. And based on the things that we are listening, we also create that predictions, so we need to check if the predictions are correct. Then understand the speaker's meaning. Emotions and opinions. Also, we need to infer relationships between speakers or identify the context in which the speakers are operating. We need to have some skills to understand all the things. Si se fijan, no simplemente es que vamos a escuchar algo que alguien está diciendo y entender cada palabra, ¿verdad? Cada oración, cada frase. En este caso tenemos que entender muchas más cosas. Cuando estamos hablando y escuchando una conversación, the first thing is to understand the main idea of the information. ¿Cuál es la idea principal de lo que yo estoy escuchando? Specific details. Necesito detalles específicos que a mí me ayuden a entender mejor lo que escucho. Check on predictions. Ya decía, hacemos predicciones de qué va a pasar en un futuro y tenemos que ver que sea así. Tenemos que ver que se cumplan o cambiarlas. Understand speaker's meaning. This is very difficult because if we don't pay attention to what the people is saying, we're not going to understand what is the meaning that the person is having for the things that they are saying. For example, you are listening to a speech and you need to understand what is the message of the speech. So in that case, you need to understand what is the meaning of the words that that person is using. Also, we need to understand the emotions about the speech and the opinions that the person or the people is having about that topic. And also, in some cases, we need to infer, to understand, to find what is the relationship between the speakers and also the context in which the speaker are operating, what are the contexts in which they are using something. And we have some skills that we need to develop, and in this case we need the listening for details, that we are going to use it when we need to find specific information. Listening for specific information, and in this case is when you need just a specific topic or a specific information that you need to complete something. Predicting, and that in this case we need to try to guess key information contained into recording before we listen. En esto de la predicción es básicamente cuando tenemos que decir, va a tratar de este tema y van a hablar de esta situación. Hacemos una predicción. Inferring meaning. Students or people listen to identify the difference between what the speaker says and what they actually mean. Podemos escuchar a una persona hablar sobre un tema, pero tenemos que saber cuál es la diferencia entre lo que dice la persona y lo que en realidad significa. Then identify emotion. In this case, we need to listen to identify the mood of certain speakers. Are they happy? Are they excited? Are they sad or something like that? Listening for opinions, inferring relationship, and recognizing context are the skills that we need to develop when we listen information. Now, I'm going to take this out. Vamos a ir un momento a la plataforma para ver el ejercicio y para escuchar el audio que nosotros tenemos en ese ejercicio. We are going to listen the audio twice, and then we are going to answer the exercise that there are on the platform. You have two options, and you are going to tell me what is the best option or what is the correct answer. So let's go to the platform. So we are here, and we have this audio. Let's hear. Okay, we are going to have some troubles like this when we're on the platform, but we need to go to the other window to listen the audio like this. But in this case, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Listen to 4 people talk to a pharmacist. Check each person's problem. 1.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like something for my feet. I went on a long hike yesterday and my feet are really sore.
I see. Why don't you try some of this ointment? You can put it on at night. It's very good for sore feet. I use it myself, actually.
2.
Excuse me. I'm looking for something for a stomachache.
I see. How long have you had this problem?
For a few days, and it's getting worse.
I'll give you some pills to take for a few days. They should help. Take 2 of these 3 times a day with meals.
3.
Can I help you?
Yes. I just came back from London on a long flight, and I'm having trouble sleeping.
We have several things for that, including sleeping pills. But I suggest you try some of this herbal tea. It's very good for jet lag. Drink some before you go to bed at night.
Thanks. I'll try it. I don't like taking sleeping pills.
4.
Good morning. What can I do for you?
I need something for a burn. I burned my hand a little when I was cooking last night. Look here.
Oh, yes. I'll give you some cream for it. After you put on the cream, place a bandage over it for a few days. You should be fine.
Thanks.
Okay, we have the audio with 4 different things. So we are going to see the sentences first, and then we are going to listen again the audio. We have here the options that we can use for answering this exercise. And the number 1, it says the men's feet are sore or the men's feet are itchy. Then in the second one, we have the woman can't eat or the woman has an upset stomach. Number 3, the man has difficulties sleeping or the man is sleeping too much. And the number 4, the woman burned his hand or the woman has a bad sunburn. So now that we have read or we need to know the information or the specific information to answer those situations. Escuchamos la primera vez el audio, ya tenemos una idea de qué fue lo que dijeron, luego vamos y leemos las opciones que tenemos y luego volvemos a escuchar y ya sabemos qué información es la que necesitamos. For example, for the number one, ¿qué le pasa a la primera persona? ¿Qué le pasa a la segunda? And then we're going to listen again the audio and then you're going to tell me the answers. So we are going to this one and listen again.
Listen to 4 people talk to a pharmacist. Check each person's problem. 1.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like something for my feet. I went on a long hike yesterday and my feet are really sore.
I see. Why don't you try some of this ointment? You can put it on at night. It's very good for sore feet. I use it myself, actually.
2.
Excuse me. I'm looking for something for a stomachache.
I see. How long have you had this problem?
For a few days, and it's getting worse.
I'll give you some pills to take for a few days. They should help. Take 2 of these 3 times a day with meals.
3.
Can I help you?
Yes. I just came back from London on a long flight, and I'm having trouble sleeping.
We have several things for that, including sleeping pills. But I suggest you try some of this herbal tea. It's very good for jet lag. Drink some before you go to bed at night.
Thanks. I'll try it. I don't like taking sleeping pills.
4.
Good morning. What can I do for you?
I need something for a burn. I burned my hand a little when I was cooking last night. Look here.
Oh, yes. I'll give you some cream for it. After you put on the cream, place a bandage over it for a few days. You should be fine.
Thanks.
Okay, now we are going to have the answers for these sentences. Let's see, number 1. The men's feet are sore or the men's feet are itchy.
The man's feet are sore.
Okay, the men's feet are sore. Number 2. Then we are going to check the answers. Number 2. The woman can eat or the woman has an upset stomach.
The woman has
So much.
Okay. Number 3. The man has difficulty sleeping or the man is sleeping too much.
The man has difficulty sleeping.
Okay. And number 4. The woman burned her hand or the woman has a bad sunburn.
Burn her hand.
Okay. So we are going to see if they are correct. Of course they are. All of them. Good. So, okay, in that case, it's like that. When we have these kind of exercises, cuando tenemos estos ejercicios, we need to read the sentence if we have the opportunity to read the sentences to know what is the information that we need to answer those question or those sentences. And then we need to listen carefully the information that we have on the audio. But now, we are going to see the exercise. I will send to you a link to the group of WhatsApp that is the link of the worksheet. Voy a mandarles el link del worksheet o de la hoja de trabajo a lo que es WhatsApp para que entren y vayamos viendo parte por parte qué es lo que necesitamos. So let me see here. And we have the link in a moment here. So we have the link on the group, and we have three different parts. Yes, we have three different parts, and at the beginning of the worksheet it says, listening for numbers, dates, and prices. Necesitamos escuchar números, fechas y precios. That is the specific information that we need for these exercises. And it says, we sometimes have to listen for numbers, dates, and price. Practice listening to numbers regularly on the radio or on the television, but in this case, we can do it on internet. Be prepared to hear years and dates if someone is talking about the past. And in this case, when we are talking about something about history, we need to hear numbers and dates and all of the things. Then, listen for the verb cost and spend. We often use them to talk about prices. En este caso nos está dando consejos de qué es lo que necesitamos escuchar para resolver el ejercicio. The number one, if you can access to the worksheet you have in the number one, and in this case it says watch or listen, but you are going to listen. Listen to the first part of the learning curve. Choose the correct options to complete the sentence, and we have two sentences. Number one, Simon talked about the invention of the satellite or the GPS. And the number two, Kate talked about the invention of instant coffee or coffee filters. Tenemos dos situaciones en ese audio. Una, vamos a escuchar a Simón hablando de qué, de satélites o de GPS. But we need to listen to understand what is the meaning of the conversation. And in the second one, we have Kate talks about the invention of instant coffee or coffee filters. Vamos a escuchar también a Kate para saber si está hablando de café instantáneo o de filtros de café. Then we need to listen carefully the conversation between Simon and a girl and Kate and a man to know how much it took to Simon to get to that place by taxi, how many minutes, or the price of the travel. And then we're going to hear some years and something like that. And in that part, we need to write the correct dates. And in the part number 3, that is the irregular verb, we need to write the infinitive. Vamos a escribir la forma infinitiva. En este caso no le vamos a agregar to al verbo, sino que simplemente vamos a poner el verbo en presente porque ya lo tenemos en pasado. Y tenemos que saber quién dijo ese verbo en pasado en la conversación. So it's a very, very interesting exercise, and if you can access right now to the worksheet, it will be amazing. We have 10 minutes to listen the conversation and to try to complete the worksheet. Tenemos 10 minutos para escuchar el audio y tratar de completar la hoja de trabajo. And if you have some troubles, we can do it right now in this moment. If we cannot play the audio, just write or just say the verbs. We're going just to say the verbs to end the session, so you can see what are the verbs that we have on the worksheet, and I'm going to share also the table in which we have the verbs to tell what are the infinitive form of those verbs. So let me put the image to see what are the infinitive form of those verbs that we have on the worksheet. Okay, this is the table that we have on the worksheet, and it says that we need to say or to write what is the infinitive form of those verbs that we have in past or in simple past. So, in that case, when you can listen the audio, because it's necessary that we can practice our listening skill, and you have that option that you have a lot of tools on the internet in which you can find this kind of exercises that help you to listen better or to improve that skill. So, in this case, we have the first verb in a simple past, that is took. What is the infinitive or took?
Take.
Take. Good. The infinitive or had?
Have.
Have. Good. The infinitive of told?
Tell.
Tell. Coast?
Coast.
It's the same. Yes, of course. For tell?
Think.
Think. For went?
Go.
Go. Made?
Made.
Make.
Make, good. And
Ay,
for,
es el único que puede.
and for game,
Give.
Give.
give,
Ah,
good.
también.
This kind of exercise are very interesting to do because it is not like just we're going to listen something. In this case, we are going to remember the information that we have about something. Aquí vamos a utilizar varias cosas porque no simplemente vamos a escuchar, sino que vamos a recordar. Porque aquí tenemos los verbos y ya los hemos visto, pero a veces se nos llegan a olvidar o decir, what is the meaning of that? Or what is the present of that verb? And we are practicing the information that we have about the English language. When you have time, I'm going to make a request. When you have time, you can do the worksheet that you have on the group because it's going to be a very good practice for you because you are going to listen, you are going to understand, and you are going to write, and you are going to remember. In this case, when you do the exercises there, you can check your answers. And it's going to say if you have 10 of 10, 4 of 10, or something like that. And you can do the exercise again. Lo pueden hacer cuantas veces ustedes quieran si se han equivocado en alguna de las respuestas y siempre se las va a tomar porque como es un worksheet que está en internet, it's not like you have just one opportunity to do. You can do it and you can see if what are your knowledge about the numbers and dates in English and also your listening skill. ¿Cómo andan con el listening en esa parte? Because when we are talking with someone and that speaks like this, it's easier to understand. But when we are talking with someone outside our country, it's kind of complicated sometimes. So, it's time to end the session. Let me stop this one because I need to end this. Okay, it's time to end the session. Remember that today is the last day of this week, number 1, and we are going to see each other next Monday. Vamos a terminar acá la semana. Nos vamos a ver el próximo lunes. See you on Monday. Have a really good weekend and a happy night.
Thank you, teacher. See you Monday.
See you Monday.
Bye. See you Monday.
See you.